All right. Welcome in, everyone. Kicking off another deep dive here. And this time around, you sent in a bunch of stuff on this whole idea of data activation platforms.
DAPs?
DAPs, yeah. And it looks like a lot of companies are starting to say,
Right.
okay, we get it. Data is important.
Right.
But now it's about what you actually do with all that data.
Totally. Yeah.
So our mission here is to figure out, what are these DIP things? Why are people making such a fuss over them? And how is this really going to, change the way businesses work, hopefully in a way that, helps all of us out here.
Absolutely.
So just to get us going here, I guess the main idea is data activation. Like, how do you define that?
So data activation, it's basically taking all of that data that's just been sitting there, in storage, in databases,
Right.
and actually making it useful, making it something you can act on.
Right.
Getting it out of those databases and into the tools that people are using every single day to, make those real-time decisions. So it's really about, unlocking the potential of it all.
Okay, so DAPs, these platforms,
Yeah.
how do they, what are the nuts and bolts? What do they actually do?
Yeah, so these DAPs, they're kind of like the central hub for your data, right?
Yeah.
They pull in information from all sorts of places. Think about your CRM system, the stuff you get from your website, your mobile apps, all that.
Yeah.
Brings it all together. And then, and this is key, they don't just dump it all in one place. They actually clean it up, get rid of the junk, make sure it's accurate,
Okay.
but then they also enrich it, right? So it's not just like raw numbers and names. It's like, let's say someone's been looking at a certain type of product on your website. You can use that to figure out, okay, maybe they're interested in this other thing too, right?
Yeah.
Or you can layer in demographic data, all sorts of stuff to build a really detailed picture of who your customers are.
So you can kind of predict what people are going to want before they even know they want it.
Exactly. And then you can use this information to, segment your customers, put them into different groups based on their behavior, their demographics, whatever makes sense for your business.
Okay.
But here's the really powerful part. The DAP doesn't just stop at analyzing the data, right? It actually pushes it out to the other tools you're using.
Right. So it's not just like some report that sits on someone's desk.
Exactly. So your marketing team, your sales team, they all have access to these insights, right? In the tools they're already working with.
That makes it actually useful.
Exactly. And then the DAP can track how well things are working so you can constantly adjust and improve.
One of the things that I thought was really interesting reading through all this stuff is how it seems like, DAPs aren't just for data scientists anymore, right? Like people across a whole company
Absolutely. And that's huge.
can actually use them to understand customers better and make those one-on-one interactions better.
Right. So we've talked about bringing data into a central warehouse. And this is where the magic happens. There's a process called reverse ETL. Now, stick with me here.
Okay, I'm listening.
Regular ETL is like, imagine you're filling up a reservoir with water, right? Reverse ETL is like taking that water from the reservoir and directing it to where it's needed most.
I like the analogy.
So in this case, you're taking those analyzed insights and pushing them back out into your everyday tools. So let's say you have a marketing platform. Reverse ETL would take those customer segments from the DAP and update your platform so your targeting is super precise.
I see. Okay.
And it's not just a one-time thing, right? It's constantly updating, learning, and refining.
So for someone listening out there, why should they care about this? What are the actual benefits they could see?
Well, we've been talking about personalization a lot, and it's because it's a big deal. Companies that really nail personalization, they see way more people buying their stuff, way happier customers overall.
Okay.
You can create these truly tailored experiences for each person, recommend products they'll actually love based on, what they've done before.
Yeah.
Show them content on your website that's actually interesting to them.
Makes sense.
Think about those emails you get that know exactly what you've been looking at, right?
Yeah.
That's data activation in action.
So personalization, yeah, that's one thing.
Okay.
What about actual, bottom line stuff? Does this actually improve marketing ROI?
Oh, absolutely. When you target your marketing campaigns better, you get more people engaged. And that translates to more sales. You're not wasting money on people
Yeah.
who aren't interested in what you're selling.
Right.
Plus, you can change your campaigns on the fly based on what the data is telling you, so you can stay ahead of the curve.
So spend less, get better results.
Exactly.
Okay, I like that.
Hmm.
I also saw some things about operational efficiency. Like, how does that fit in?
So think about all the time people spend, manually pulling reports and crunching numbers.
Yeah.
DAPs automate a lot of that stuff. So instead of waiting for someone to put a report together, the data just flows right into the systems where people need it. That means decisions can be made way faster and teams can focus on, bigger picture stuff.
And it feeds into this whole idea of the 360-degree view of the customer, right?
Exactly. You're pulling in information from every single touch point,
Mm.
so you really understand their journey with your company. And that leads to more sales because you know how to talk to them, what to offer them.
That makes sense.
So, yeah, it all
That's
connects.
all sounds super helpful. Like, can you give us some examples of how this actually plays out in different industries?
Sure. So, in e-commerce, we've talked about personalized recommendations.
Right.
But think about those emails you get after you leave something in your cart.
Oh, yeah.
That's data activation working in real time.
Okay.
In finance, you could use data to figure out, who might be a good fit for a loan or a credit card based on their financial behavior.
Interesting.
Media companies, like streaming services, they use it to suggest shows you might like.
Right, like Netflix, yeah.
Exactly. And to figure out who might be thinking of canceling their subscription,
Okay.
even in healthcare, you could send personalized appointment reminders or, educational materials tailored to someone's specific health needs.
Wow, so it really is across the board.
It really is. And even in logistics, like you can combine data from your inventory systems with real-time weather information to predict shipping delays.
Oh, wow, so it's like it touches everything.
Pretty much.
So for someone who's out there listening and thinking, okay, maybe a DAP makes sense for my company, what are some things they should look for?
Okay, so the first thing is integration, right? Make sure it can connect to all the systems you're already using.
Yeah.
Then you want real-time processing, so you're not waiting around for insights.
Okay.
And then you need tools for segmenting your audience, personalizing experiences, and of course, it should integrate seamlessly with your marketing and sales platforms.
Makes sense.
You'll want strong analytics and reporting so you can see what's working. And don't forget data governance and security, super important.
Right.
But here's the big one. Make sure it's easy to use.
Yeah, if people can't use it, then what's the point?
Exactly. It shouldn't just be for the data scientists.
So I guess to wrap it all up,
Mm.
these DAPs, they're really about making all this data we have actually useful, right?
Yeah. Oh.
Leading to, happier customers, more efficient operations, and ultimately a much better understanding of who our customers are and what they want.
That's the goal.
So to everyone listening, I hope this has been helpful. Think about all that data that's out there just waiting to be tapped into. How could you use it to make your business better, your work more effective, whatever it is you're doing? It's not just about having the data. It's about making it smart and, most importantly, making it work for you. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We'll catch you next time.